Folks, how's it going? Can you all hear me? It's been a while since I've gone live. Do I have any mods in here? Hey, Mac, how's it going?
I guess we'll see.
Well, this definitely is not a call out live. That's not my shtick. I like
Oh
doing
no, I'm not worried about
education.
you. I guess it's just more so the people in the comments because I feel like I am trying to have a more nuanced conversation about
Yeah,
things that aren't really spoken on a whole lot. And so, I mean,
yeah.
unfortunately, that's probably going to hurt some feelings, but I'm not here in any like malice, and I'm also not um a turf. I've been seeing people say that I'm not a turf. I'm very inclusive of trans women within feminism. So just clarify that.
That's why I came over, because I'm starting to get really irritated with that. These people don't know what a turf is. If these people knew what a turf is, they'd be like me, crying in a corner with a thing in their hand that's going to unalive themselves. That's what a turf is. What you did, Mac, wasn't even close to what a turf can do.
Yes, please,
So these
Alex.
people need to stop throwing that term around like it's candy, because it's removing the damage that these people do. And I'm done with it. Absolutely done with it. What would this is the way I interpreted it, because I have a background in the psychology that kind of deals with what Max saying. So when trans women grow up, especially myself, I'll use myself. This is completely me, my own experience.
Real
When
quick,
I
Pex,
grew
can you
up,
mod this account? Sorry, just real
oh,
quick.
yeah,
Sure.
when I grew up, especially being like in a military and everything, I was perceived to be a cisgender man. I wasn't a cisgender man, but that's how the world saw me. So men would say things around me that they'd be more comfortable saying around than women. I've already seen the difference. Now that I'm a trans woman, they talk to me in a completely different way. You can tell, like they're more held back. They're kind of like, you can tell they're not as open with me. So you could pick up on certain habits, right? And in the environment around us has an effect on how we act. Does it mean all trans women will act the same? No. Like there was a lot of misogyny around me that I resisted, because I'm like, hey, you shouldn't be talking about women that way. Like that's disgusting. You know what I mean? It's actually a lot of the reason I lean more towards radical feminism, towards like a more softer approach, because I've seen it. It's pushed me all the way the wrong way, like all the way the other way. Because I'm just like, no, I've seen the horrors and I'm done with it, right? So that's, and we need to be having more discussions without just saying transphobic, because it's going to shut down. Like Mac, thankfully, was able to be like, hey, I still want to cover this, have this conversation. But some people would be like, fine, you just want to call me transphobic? I'm out. Like, I'm leaving. And I've done that with other people within our own community. They're like, oh, you're transphobic. And I'm like, fine, if that's how you're going to be, I don't want to talk to you. I don't even want to be part of this. I've even thought, like, I don't even want to be part of this community. I'm just going to say, I'm a trans woman, and that's it. I'm not part of any community. I don't want to be part of a community. I'm just going to live my life. Leave me alone, because it's getting ridiculous. Like, we're just jumping on people right away instead of going, okay, whoa, let's back this up. What's going on here? Right? And like, I agree. There has been an effect that me transitioning way later in life, I picked up on some bad habits and I'm going to therapy to fix them. I have internalized transphobia. I will tell you from the bottom of my heart, I have it. And I really need to seek therapy about it, which I am. But you know what I mean? You can pick up on these things, and we're not immune because we're trans women, right? Like, and when I said, Max, sorry, when I said women can be misogynistic too, I was trying to say trans women who also are women can be misogynistic. We don't have this shield around us going, oh, we're not women, even though we're just pretending we're playing this role. We don't have this monolithic shield around us that makes us immune to environmental influences. We have the capacity to do these things. So that's why I was saying, like, Mac isn't saying what everybody's saying she's saying. Like, we're taking this a little overboard, and this is why people push away from us and disengage from us because they're like, ugh, these trans
Real,
women
real quick. I
getting over
don't
things.
think
Okay, go.
yeah, no, I don't think people in the comments that were, I don't think they were saying that Mac, well, I mean, I don't think Mac is a turf, that's, I don't think that, but, I do think that what they were saying is more that what she was saying was coming across like turf rhetoric. I just wanted to quickly point that out. I'm not saying she is or isn't, but I think Nicole, I don't think people were actually calling her a turf. I just think that without explanation, the narrative was a bit turfy. But that's
I
not. I'm
agree.
not saying one way or
No,
the other.
I can
But
agree, yeah, because
yeah,
obviously being in
without
rad fem
explanation,
space,
it's definitely turfy.
yeah, like I could, okay, I can agree. Like I'm in rad fem spaces, so I can tell you exactly what's turfy. Yeah, you gotta watch out because when you say male socialization, so turfs attached to bioessentialism, so they believe because you're a male, you have this socialization and you're evil. Essentially, is how it rolled. That's their logic. It's really ridiculous. So I could see it that way, but I didn't take it that way. I knew Mac was like, "Hey,
No,
there's a
I think there was
problem
some
with yeah,
explanations that maybe needed to had, but I don't think calling her a turf was warranted
no,
whatsoever. But yeah,
no, they are awful because, like I said, I'm in Radfem servers and we get them every once in a while, bleh, and they're just ugh, they're vicious people. I don't know what's wrong with them. They
yeah,
need to go keep
I don't really
therapy.
have an opinion. I'm just here to help packs, so I just thought I'd
Yeah,
pop on up.
I'm here too, just to give like a more nuanced view. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying it was good, but I'm not. I'm like, hey guys, like, cool, let's cool the jets here.
Yep. Celeste has their hand up. Can we let Celeste go?
You I don't know. To me, it still just was a weird time to bring it up. I don't know. Like I get it opened up a broader conversation. I'm just not a fan of the like how it came about. And I also don't really understand like okay, if Sean hadn't transitioned until after the fact, what then? Like if if trans women can still hold misogyny, um then what does transitioning have to do with it? That's
I
like
mean,
saying you're more of a woman if you've transitioned, and that feeds into harmful rhetoric, in my opinion. That's kind of where I was going. Like, what then? Like, you're also not explaining what type of transitioning, social, like, hormonal surgery, any of those things. There's different ways to transition, as well. So, yeah, I had more questions, but I don't know. Like it just really confused me. Like what then
I
if
mean, so
Sean had been
yeah,
not transitioned until after the fact, like what does that change?
yeah. So I mean, as we know, boys and men are brought up in a very different way than girls and women are, and especially when it comes to grape culture and the way that both of us are either like for example, boys and men are taught that entitlement is an okay trait to have. Boys and men are taught to express their emotions in the form of anger and violence. Boys and men are taught they are taught specific tenets that we, obviously know are contributing to grape culture. And since Sean is being alleged of being a coercive rapist, right? I was just simply trying to dig behind the motives as to why they did that, and then also why they are now Darvoing, because I think Darvo does come from a sense of entitlement and a sense of feeling as if your way, it's only your way or the highway. And then same with like manipulative tactics. I would say that men learn manipulative tactics. I mean, that's what coercion is. Coercion is the result of entitlement and manipulation. And so I was simply trying to dive deeper into why, you know, this might have happened and how Sean's socialization might have played a part in that.
Well, my question is, what does transitioning have to do with it? Like, or identifying as a woman? Like, what does that have to do with it? Because if
Because,
men and women can hold on, if men and women can both use Darvo, then I get men cis men usually do it to a greater degree, like it's still not answering my question. What is the question you asked was,
Because
did Sean
Sean,
identify?
we don't know when Sean
Why do
started
I keep getting
unpacking.
interrupted immediately?
Because I think I know the answer to the end of your
Well,
question, and I just
don't.
want to give it to
Well,
you.
just let me finish it, please. Like, if okay, like I'm literally forgetting what I was gonna say because I got interrupted multiple times. But I just it didn't really answer my question. My
Okay.
question was about what does transitioning change about the way Sean was raised?
So it has
They
to do
can.
with unpacking. It has to do with
Okay.
unpacking. And I mean, I would just say that there's a lot of unpacking that has to be done, especially whenever you do start to transition, because your entire worldview is obviously going to shift from presenting very masculine to presenting in a very feminine way. And the way that the world views you is going to be a lot different. And so there would be unpacking there that either started maybe before, I'm not sure, but I don't know if Sean was unpacking the things that Sean learned as, a boy, a teenage boy, and ultimately a man. And so that was the point, is the unpacking part of it all.
Yeah, but
I'm
your
gonna let
question was
Dr.
about
Jellicoe next.
identifying, not about transitioning. I'm gonna leave, but this conversation
I
doesn't
don't know how to
really.
put the hand up, so I'll just go after whenever
Yeah.
there's time.
But I also want to remind, no, Celeste, please don't leave, because I really want you here, and I really think that your voice is important. And please re-request. I would like you to go up next. I just wanted Dr. Jalbel to come in, and I would just like to remind Mac this is a trans place, and please don't speak over trans voices. Thank you.
Hi
Celeste,
all.
please request.
I've been listening for since Echo's live, but I was driving, so you were my radio station. What I do want to say is, so when you go back, Mac, and you read through Freud's theory from the 1997, the original paper, right? Davo is not inherently based on gender. So while it's not based on gender, it often does play out in gendered ways because of the rates at which cis men commit offenses against women, right? So because of that, that is the gender component. So I don't think that there is a need to make the link between trans people before transition or after transition and Davo. It is inherently a theory that takes into account intersectionality, right? So when Freud made that theory, there is an actual section where she specifies that it is emphasized, that Davo emphasizes the institutional betrayal and power asymmetries more than gender specifically, right? So what I'm trying to impress here is that the theory itself does not refer to gender specifically because Freud herself acknowledges that the type of violence that Davo is applied to is able to be expressed by both men and women and non-binary individuals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm not suggesting that women cannot partake, or cisgendered women, or whatever class of people cannot partake in Darvo. Obviously, everyone can partake in Darvo, and grape culture as well. But again, we know that men partake in grape culture, and people who have been socialized as men are going to get they are going to receive the same sort of, I guess, socialization as cis men. And so they're going to have they're going to have traits of grape culture that have been ingrained into them since birth, up until the point that they start either unpacking or transitioning, whichever one may come first. depends on the person. But that would have an impact on Sean's upbringing.
I think when we're talking about the impact that their lived experience or the people's life worlds has individually on them, then you're actually talking about the psychology of the individual rather than men as a whole. So yes, while a child is enculturated, or as you say, taught these behaviors, right, that is simply the production of culture, and gender is included in the production of culture through the observed behaviors that babies learn, and then children, and then adolescents, and so on. So these behaviors are reproduced. But you have to acknowledge that the intersection in this that we need to also acknowledge is that trans women have never actually been men or boys. There is an internal mechanism, right? So even though they did learn these behaviors, right, those behaviors can only be observed in an individual. So as was the case when Nicole was talking about her individual experience, right, we can't simply make a blanket statement and homogenize an entire group of people based on the fact that they were, yes, socialized or enculturated from a young age, because that enculturation clearly was rejected by the psyche and the lived experience of a trans person. So again, when we are talking about Davo, yes, men do exhibit the majority of those traits because, the majority of men offenders exhibit those traits because they are the ones who are perpetrating the crime most often. But women also do exhibit those behaviors. So it's not a gendered thing, it's more a human being thing.
Well, you said like a generalized statement. What was the generalized statement that I mentioned?
That it could be from the enculturation or from learning the behaviors early on. So we can't simply assume that every trans woman has learned and internalized misogyny. We can only make the statement that perhaps they did learn it, but they didn't need to internalize it and enact on it, because trans women will tell you that they do reject all of that gendered enculturation that they received from the time that they were able to verbalize their gender.
So the reason everyone exhibits misogyny. Misogyny is one of the most prevalent forms of normalized hatred within our society. Everyone experiences it, regardless of if you're a woman, trans man, whether you are black, white, Asian, etc. It doesn't matter your ethnicity. Every single person on this panel exhibits misogyny in one way or another. So I'm not going to work back that statement, because that is you can say that you're not misogynistic, but I would venture to say that you are. Like, everyone is. We've all been that's the consequence of being raised under the patriarchy.
What about people who aren't raised under patriarchy?
I mean, what society in the world is not a patriarchy?
I can give a native, but I can
Okay,
also
And I
give
would
my
like
own.
to say that Red has had their hand up.
Yeah,
any
but
of
they're
us
having
a
a
part of-
conversation. They're
Hold
having
on,
a conversation.
question. Are any of us a part of those communities? I'm assuming that all of us were raised under a patriarchy.
No.
You don't know who's like.
Oh, I
people
wasn't.
in the
It's just my
comments
own thing.
would be.
Okay, so Alex wasn't, but Alex, would you personally say that you have like internalized misogyny?
Maybe just from like society, but I wasn't raised in a patriarchy. I was raised in a matriarchy, like major. But woman's word was
Okay,
Bible and
and
stuff like that. So,
you're the
but I
exception.
probably do. Yeah, but I probably do just from generalized society. But it's definitely not from being raised in a society like that. It's from like possibly in school and going out into the world and stuff like that. But not from like the way I was raised.
Yeah, like in my family, my mom was definitely more of the interactive parent, and I know a lot of people have that experience, but I can't like say that like
I just think Red should be able to go. They've had their hand up for a really long time.
Well, Celeste, if you live in the United States, you live in a patriarchy. It doesn't matter whether or not your
Well,
household was
I
one or
didn't
not.
say I wasn't raised under patriarchy.
Well, you're talking about your mom being the dominant figure, and that's not the conversation.
Okay.
Every one of us up here has internalized misogyny. That's just a fact.
Did I
Red,
say
go
that?
go ahead, Red.
I think Nicole wanted to speak after Red.
Before I speak, I was about to say I would prefer if Nicole, any trans person, goes before I do. Please put my voice last, please.
Hi. Actually, Red, I'm going to drop you down for another trans voice, okay? I appreciate you. Please stay in the comments, and we appreciate your voice.
Of course, of course.
What's going on? Hi, Mac. Hi, everyone else. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Alex. Hi,
Hello,
Dr.
how are
Hi,
you?
Celeste.
I don't know. To be honest, it's still not clicking for me. Yeah, I really don't get it. If both men and women exhibit misogyny, and both men and women can portray Darvo, just because someone was socialized as a boy under a patriarchy is not going to, I don't know, make them use Darvo if both men and women do it. And
So,
and I need to state, no, Matt did not answer that. Transitioning doesn't change who someone is internally. Like, it may validate their sense of self. That's why a lot of people transition, because they have that need to have the like congruence with their sex and their gender. That's why a lot of people transition, and not all people medically transition. Like, you still didn't explain what about transitioning makes someone unpack Darvo. Like, I get that their external treatment changes, but cis women also do Darvo, so it's not really, that's still not clicking for me. And yeah, I would like to know what you think, like what you think about transitioning, and what specific type of transition would change somebody's mentality. Like, I don't know.
so the point was that the studies that I've read about Darvo and in regards to sexual claims, it is most exhibited in men. And so if you were socialized as a man, I could see why Sean is engaging in Darvo currently to discredit their victim. Because if you were socialized as a boy, as a teenage boy, and as a man, and that's how you identified for, or not identified, but that's how you presented for the majority of your life, then you would, that would make sense as to why Sean is engaging in Darvo. That was the entire point that I was trying to make.
So what if, like, what about cis women? Like,
So
they
that's
also.
So again, I'm just going off of this study. I'm simply trying to piece like pieces of the puzzle together and understand why Sean and why like they are engaging in this behavior. And when it comes to SA, which is what we're talking about, Darvo specific to SA claims, and studies have shown that men are more likely to engage in Darvo in terms of like SA claims than women. So I was simply just asking the question if Sean was socialized as a man, then would that have an impact as to why Sean is doing what she's doing currently? That's it. That's literally just that's the conversation. That's the question.
Yeah, I just think it's a odd question to.
I think bringing the transition in is where we have a disconnect. The transition has nothing to do with when somebody starts unpacking stuff. They could have been unpacking their internalized misogyny long before they transitioned. But the problem is that people equate being trans, especially being a trans woman, with being a predator. And the problem is when you ask questions that allude to them having a different view prior to transition and then transitioning. There's a problem. There's a stigmatization that we have for trans women. Trans women aren't men. They have been mistreated by society and abused by society.
Yeah, so the reason that I brought up asked the question when they started transitioning was just to get a better idea as to how long they were benefiting from male privilege.
I don't think outward validation as a man changes someone's internal identity. If that were the case, then I guess trans people wouldn't exist. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like that would really affect whether someone uses dark or not.
I mean, again,
And you didn't answer my question about what type of transition.
So transitioning in in a physical manner is what I was talking about.
What type?
Yeah, so physically altering your appearance in a physical manner in the outward presence of how you appear to the world. That's what I was asking about, because again, if you present masculine, you benefit from male privilege.
What do you consider masculine?
Looking like a man. I look at the typical traits that we associate with a man.
Name a few.
Facial hair would be one of them. Typical traits that we all view. Shorter hair could be one of them. The way that you dress could be one of them. Just the typical traits that most men in our society, exhibit.
So
not to say that that's what makes them a man.
So
but
literally haircut, dress.
Yeah, the physical appearance.
So as soon as somebody starts shaving, growing their hair, and wearing skirts, they can present as women.
I mean, I would say once you start to present more femininely, you do start to lose your male privilege.
Okay.
But
where does losing male privilege change your desire to use dark hair?
I mean, again, I talked about the study.
Yeah, and the study was related
the
to
question.
men.
The question was also the question behind when they transitioned was also to get an understanding of how long they were benefiting from male privilege, which again, male privilege enables sexual predation in our society. And
Wait, but hold on. Your question was, when did she start identifying as a woman, not when did she start transitioning?
Okay, that was bad verbiage on my part. I apologize.
Can you go back to the predation and male privilege, please? Can you repeat that?
Yeah, what part?
It was one of the last couple of sentences that you had said about trans men and predation, or I'm sorry, males and predation.
Oh yeah, I mean, so male privilege directly ties hand in hand with sexual predation. So for example, entitlement is something that would be not only would be a part of male privilege. You are allowed to men are socialized with this idea in their head that they are entitled to a wife, they are entitled to sex, they are entitled to a woman's body, etc. And so that not only is male privilege, right? Growing up in a world where you believe that you should have like access to other people's bodies, but it's also causing sexual predation. Because when you have that
Do you think
entitlement, you engage in coercion.
do you think that trans men have male privilege then?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so see that's where the issue is because that is malgendering people. Um, the reason that like yes, trans men, it's all men. It includes male privilege, but trans men aren't predators.
No, I mean, like, so trans men, whenever they were presenting femininely, they did not benefit from male privilege, right? But
So
then
they're
whenever
benefiting from it now.
Yeah.
yeah, so then, I mean, you can still like engage in sexual predation. I mean, I would say that like, I would argue that trans men are probably not as likely to engage in sexual predation as compared to like cis men, just because of the socialization differences. And we know that entitlement has a very large impact into why people commit SA. So I would say that like trans men are relatively safer in regards to like comparing them to cis men. But like, I mean, yeah, they could still be predators.
I'm
Well,
also
anybody can be a
really,
predator.
yeah, I'm also really uncomfortable about like the whole presenting like a man thing because Black people have been known to be hyper masculinized for a long time and seen as more masculine than they actually are or have been because of like rape. And also like there's mass cis women out there that honestly sometimes I look at some like mass lesbians and they look more like masculine than some cis men. So like I don't know. I just going off of looks, that's not really
I
it
mean,
for me. And I just
I'm not gonna pretend like there are people
and I
out. Like, I'm
just
not gonna
am
pretend
really
like.
tired of getting interrupted. Like I'm the only
Sorry, I
person.
thought you were done. Okay, I apologize. Sorry, there was a delay on my end.
Also, Celeste, you are very quiet. I know that's no excuse, but I'm just saying
Yeah,
it is a little
I've
bit hard to hear.
I've been consistently interrupted on Echo's panel, and now
Oh,
it's
that's okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I get
I
that, but you are very quiet, so just to
yeah,
let you
I'm
know.
just getting frustrated at this point because
no,
the
you
shoes
know
are
what,
being
No, I get
avoided.
that. I was
Celeste,
just letting you know.
I hear you. You might be a little bit quiet, but yes, absolutely, Mac has been
Am,
over talking you,
am I a
and I'm going
little
to.
louder now?
Yeah, you're a little louder, but Mac, I just
Okay.
want to let you know that you do. I did notice that you had been talking over Celeste in echoes, and you are over talking her in this one.
Yeah,
And
I apologize for that. I can stop. I guess I just like whenever you ask a question multiple times, I don't know.
I
Um,
keep asking it because you weren't answering it. That's the only reason.
no, I mean like multiple times in the same like sentence, but
That's just how I speak. Because sometimes I'll like ramble for a second and then I just re-ask the question so nobody forgets what I was asking originally.
so did you have a question?
I mean, I was making a point, but I don't really remember it now that I got like interrupted for a second. So yeah, very easy for me to lose my train of thought. That's why I repeat things sometimes.
Could I just ask, like,
Lost
your
your
stance
thought.
on this, Mac? I think I missed the beginning.
I mean, I don't have a stance. I was just so I was asking about so Sean, Commissar Sean, is engaging in Darvo with their victim that accused them of SA, and I was asking questions more so to get behind like why Commissar Sean is engaging in Darvo, why that could be, and then it kind of dived into a conversation of like socialization of people who, you know, either are cis men or, you know, are trans women who transition later in life, and so it just turned into a conversation about that as well.
I just wanted to say one thing to you, that because I think a lot of people in the comments are probably taking what you're saying the wrong way, and I don't think you mean it to come across badly, but I just want you to understand that what you're saying is basically coming across as passing privilege, right? And so it's just kind of a bad road to go down. And obviously, we know there's nuance with trans people, right? When it comes to maybe they came out later in life. With trans men, maybe they might have a unique experience where they live socially as a girl, but to the outside world, right? But they were always a boy slash grow into a man. So we know there's nuance within these types of situations. But I don't know. I just want you to keep in mind to be careful when it comes to that, because it kind of just comes across as if they're not passing, then then they'll have male privilege. But if they do, they won't. Do you get what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, male privilege is like based off of two things. It's based off of the way that you present yourself to the world, and then of course it's also can also be the way that you were socialized. So again, if you were socialized as a man, you are going to exhibit male privilege or the traits that are associated with people who have that privilege. So it's twofold.
Not
But
necessarily.
Go ahead, Allison. Allison had their hand up. Sorry.
So I'm just trying to understand why the question begs for answering about another individual and their behavioral expectations or actions that they are engaging with another individual. Are you trying to take accountability for that person? Are you trying to psychologically ascertain an answer to either the victimology behind the person that's going through it, or are you trying to understand the sociological precept of why that person has been triggered at a level? I mean, we know why individuals engage in DARVO. There's a whole entire chapter in psychology, more advanced in the 30X series that I've studied, of some of the main bullet points of why they do it. But why is that the focus point of that individual? Why are we engaging in a conversation about two people that we don't have up here that I see, and trying to answer questions about them?
Yeah, because I'm curious about the behaviors as to why this individual is...
Okay, here's the thing. Unless you are a certified psychologist, sociologist, or anybody in the medical facets, or somebody that is a family member, biological, otherwise, or any of those pertainings, you need to have a private conversation with those two individuals and get to the root of it if it concerns you that level to the point where you're concerned. Asking a panel of individuals whether it has concepts related into an individual being trans or an individual going through transition or male privilege and making anecdotal conceptual correlations is not accurate. You're not going to get answers that satisfy the questions you are asking. And somebody asked something about, I don't know who it was, they're talking about is predation part of the male privilege. There's key words in the aspects of analytics when we talk about psychology, and that's can, or could, or may present, or possibly allude to. That doesn't mean categorically and monolithically that every individual who's male or was male has exhibited, will exhibit, or will contend to exhibit in the future these types of actions based on male privilege or acts of predation. It's circumstantially monolithic in its approach. And furthermore, back to subjugation, if I was a concerned individual about that individual or those group of individuals, I would be having an offline conversation with those two, not coming up here and trying to have a mutual accountability to get to the deeper part of it, right? Like this is a 1, 2, 3 type conversation. And I don't see how this is even relevant, but I mean, it's up to the host. My thoughts, psychologically speaking.
So people asked me to dive into why I said what I said. So that's what this is coming from. And I would also say I'm not demanding an answer. I'm simply trying to have a conversation about grape culture, essay culture, DARVO in essay, and why people engage in those tactics.
Have you ever thought about looking up the psychology
you
and the
not
sociology?
interrupt,
Mac, we're not
please?
going to talk about the interrupt versus non-interrupt aspect. You're talking to somebody that has a high astute knowledge in psychology and
Okay.
sociology.
So you don't have to interrupt me just because you
I
have
don't care. I don't care because I've been listening for the last 15 minutes and I feel like this is just going nowhere. And quite frankly, do the research on your own. Don't come up and ask your peer group. They're not going to provide you the accurate answers you'd seek to find. Bottom line.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a conversation with the like rapist, so I'm not gonna go to them. I will not be doing that.
I have a really
Wild.
important question. Do you
I mean,
think
you asked. Wait, can I
not-
respond to Celeste or to Allison really quickly, Celeste?
Can we use
so-
TikTok friendly language, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna have a conversation with a rapist, so that's why I'm not having a conversation with that individual. And no, people were just asking me why I said what I said, so I continued the conversation over here because the host allowed me to do so, and like don't appreciate the interrupting. That's it.
my question was, do you think that black men and black males benefit from the patriarchy at the same like level over like a white woman?
I mean, I feel like that's a more nuanced conversation that I don't have the answer to at this time.
Yeah, but you were speaking very generally about trans women and cis men. So when you're having like an intersectional conversation like this, I think it's important to also bring in more than just like the broadest terms. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm not going to give an answer to something that's going to, like that I'm not comfortable giving an answer to, and that is probably just going to like make people more upset with me. So I'm not going to give that answer because I don't have the information to give that specific answer. Like what I talk about on TikTok is primarily around essay culture. It's not around racial discussions at all. So I'm not going to speak on that.
Okay, so then you can't really have this conversation very well. But the last thing I'm gonna say, because I'm very tired, is that this felt very Kinsey-like, trying to bring up something about someone who had been victimized in a live that wasn't about that, and then not dropping it. I'm gonna go. Thank you, Tax, for having the space.
Yeah,
have a good night, everybody.
Someone asked me to bring it up, so that's why I brought it up, just to be clear.
Really
And yes, Haley, request up.
So if people have an issue with the continued conversation, like I was asked to continue the conversation.
Hi.
I can go after
Sorry,
Haley.
I won't be here long. I just wanted to quickly say to Mac, look, if you're here to like learn and stuff, that's great. But like in the past, you have been problematic to trans people, especially an instance that I can remember when me and Atlantic were on Irish's panel with you, and we, the conversation was talking about men and the way they treat women, and talking about essay and all these sort of things and harassment. And I specifically remember me and Atlantic spoke up and were talking about our experiences as trans women and how we go through this as well. And you kind of quickly piped in and said, okay, well, we're not talking about that right now, and then shut us down. And we felt really, I haven't fucked with you ever since. And I just find it a little problematic that you're up here talking about this, but then in a trans space, and then I don't know, it just feels very off. So maybe your views have changed. I don't know. Maybe I came in late, but yeah. I just wanted to point that out.
I don't remember that. If that is like, if you are, like if that did happen, I apologize. It wasn't because I didn't want you both speaking on any or on your experiences. I just, whenever I run a panel, I typically am looking for a conversation with opposition. And so I probably hurried the conversation along for that reason, but it wasn't to invalidate your experiences, but like,
This was on
can
Irish's
I?
panel, though, not yours, just to be clear.
If it was Irish's panel, then he would have told me to shut up about it. Like he would have been okay with you guys sharing that experience, because I don't run Irish's panel. Irish co-hosts on my
No, I
panel.
know. This, like, to be fair, this isn't actually. It's not about Irish. It's more about where we were at the time.
I really don't remember that. If it was my panel, then that's probably the explanation I could give you. But like, I mean, if we are on the subject of grievances, like, I guess I mean, I didn't appreciate whenever you kind of minimized in Irish and Atlantics, like there was a group chat. You kind of minimized like the fact that both Irish and our mothers were put on websites to be raped on Craigslist.
Yeah, no one minimized that.
I didn't appreciate the minimization of that.
Yeah, no one minimized that. I think it was disgusting what happened. So
you were it was minimization, and you were centering on something like unrelated to it, and that was it. You were asking Irish to get involved. You both were asking Irish to get involved with Christy, and Irish has a policy that he does not get involved with Christy because of what she did to both
Chris,
of our mothers.
sorry, that's not what Mac. That's not what happened. We mentioned.
That is what happened. I saw the DMs.
No. Irish messaged us. Irish made a group chat and messaged us. We did not initiate that conversation. He told us not to bring his name up again when referencing Christy. That's all it was.
Correct. That as well.
How did this become
And
about?
it was minimizing. So I'm just letting you know that I did.
That's fine. Look, if you've got that's not minimizing. Like as soon as he said that, we said that we don't agree with what Christy did there. That was disgusting. That was horrible. No one condones that, right? My point is, when you're coming into a trans space, right, and you're talking about these things and you're using the language like Boss Lady said, it's kind of problematic. And so, just be mindful when you're in these spaces.
Okay, you were just bringing up a grievance to me, so I was bringing up one to you.
That's not how that works.
The grievance was about how you've treated trans people in the past when talking about these topics, especially when it comes to essay and stuff.
I genuinely don't recall what you're saying. If it happened on my panel, I could definitely see that happening, because I don't like to host a space where people share stories, because I'm not like informed on people. I'm not like that's not my forte. My forte is not necessarily empathetically being able to support victims in that way. So that
you hold lives about grape culture, and you're not.
Yes, correct.
And that's what we were speaking on, Celeste. That's exactly what we were speaking on, is our experiences.
Why do you think it's appropriate to bring up a grievance against somebody else when they've first brought up a grievance to you? That's so dismissive. Like, if you have a grievance with somebody else, you bring it to them. You don't do it the second they have a grievance.
I addressed it.
Pick another time.
I addressed it, and I'm apologizing for it, because again, and
why bring it up again?
I don't need you to tell me how I should or should not run my platform again. You can.
I'm not telling you how to run your platform.
Yeah, but you're asking me, why do I talk on grape culture?
I literally didn't.
I didn't tell you how to run your platform. You're asking me why I talk on grape culture if I can't like empathetically allow a space for victims. Yeah,
no,
like that's not
what
my
I
forte.
said. Actually, I said
that's not my forte. Then why did you ask?
Hold up, sorry, Celeste. Can I just? I'm going to drop, but I just want to finish this quickly with Mac, and I just want to say, Mac, I think it's great that you hold these spaces and educate people on grape culture. Honestly, I do. I think it's great. There's not enough people are actually doing that. Bravo. I just thought when you're in trans spaces and stuff, then just be mindful of like language, and just remember that you've said some problematic things. So I don't know. So just be mindful. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and I actually just asked you don't listen to essay victim stories, or you don't listen to people's stories when you're holding a live about grape culture. I asked just to clarify. It wasn't like you should do that. Like, I don't really care. You
okay, well,
do what you want in your live. You've been trying to like finish my sentences for me, and I don't like that. And I don't like the pivoting and derailing of the conversation. especially when it's like a Haley, are you trans?
Yes, I am, and the
Okay, when
reason why
it's
I was even saying
yeah,
that was because when me and Atlantic were telling our story about how we also experienced these things, and we kind of felt like we were shut down, and that you know, it was. I don't think Mac meant this, and she probably didn't, but it felt like we weren't experiencing the same things. She made us feel like we don't experience what she experiences because she's a cis woman. And I know she didn't say that, Mac. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm not saying you said that, but that's the feeling it gave us. And so, we kind of felt shut down. And ever since then, I've stayed away from you guys.
yeah, this
Yeah,
kind of feels like you're
I
going down the pipeline of people
can
who
I respond to
transition
that? I'm
later and less.
sorry. Can
No,
I respond to her before
no,
she leaves?
I was actually talking to
Well,
Haley,
I would
not
like
you.
to give her an
Well,
explanation
you can do that
and an
after.
apology. I think that's more important than like what you might have to say. I think an apology to Haley is more important. So, Haley, I do apologize that I made you feel that way. That's obviously not my intention at all. Like at all. And I don't want you to feel like that was specific to you because I don't really like to host a panel for anyone to kind of talk on their story because again I'm not good with like the empathetic emotional side of like victim
Which is fine, but
advocacy.
it is an empathetic, emotional topic. So, oh,
No, and
sorry,
I
Talbot.
I get that. I'm not like again, that's not what I'm comfortable with. So I get that and I just don't hold a space for that specifically, but it's not specific to you at all or Atlantic. And I wish that like I could hold a space for that, but I'm just not at the place to be holding that space.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to
Anyways,
ask. I'm so sorry, Celeste. Please go ahead.
yeah, I was Haley. I was just gonna say it feels like the kind of rhetoric that we're going down is that people who trans women who transition later in life are like less women. To me, it's just I don't know. This whole conversation has thrown me for a loop. I'm just, anyways. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask Mac, what kind of feminism do you ascribe to, Max? Max, sorry.
Um, I mean, I guess like I would say like I wouldn't say like fully radical feminism. I would say like in between, like not choice feminism, definitely not choice feminism. I would say like leaning radical feminism, but definitely not like so far radical that it's like unbearable. Um, but I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. Absolutely. So my reason for asking that is that I am very much grounded in intersectional feminism, perhaps radical feminism as well, if you ask Nicole. But right, as a cis woman, fellow cis woman here, I have witnessed you silence a woman of color and a trans woman at the same time and tell them that what they're saying is not as important as you apologizing to Haley. And while I love Haley, right, you cannot speak over women of color. It's just not something that we do or we practice in our feminist platforms. And we do need to remember that. We need to be aware, whether it is with empathy or without empathy, that trans women and women of color specifically, right, do need to have this platform to speak because they have been oppressed. So whether you do agree to intersectional feminism or not, radical feminism does explain this and it does talk about women of color. And I do believe Celeste is a woman of color. So I would ask you to perhaps, pardon?
Sorry, I was just saying I'm non-binary, but
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Raised as woman, I partially identify with womanhood.
Okay.
Yeah, the illusion that radical feminism is YT feminism it's an illusion. If you read the literature deep, it's intersectional. It has intersectionality.
Hang on. So I'm sorry, Celeste, a femme presenting voice. So I do need you to just mind your P's and Q's. We don't want to take away the platform of people who have in the past been silenced. That's all.
Yeah, again, that's not my intention. I just wanted to get my apology out to her before she had to leave, and I felt as if that was the more pressing issue at the time. So,
No, it was just interesting that you weren't apologizing until that point where I started to speak.
I mean,
Yeah.
like we were trying to have a conversation about it to get to the, like, I wanted to understand her fully. And so
Yeah.
again, I wanted to
Yeah,
tell
but-
her that that wasn't my intention.
Yeah, the conversation at first was about you bringing up grievances that weren't brought up until they brought them up to you. But
I just haven't seen Haley around. I mean, it's not done in any sort of malice. I haven't seen Haley around. She told me she hasn't been coming into my spaces. I apologized before that, and told her why I shut
we
down
can go back to the
conversation.
conversation. I heard it all.
Like, I gave an apology. I don't know. It's not for you. Like, Haley can accept it if she wants to. It's not for you to accept or pick apart. It's for Haley to decide whether or not she wants to have that, like, as a valid excuse or not, or a valid
Don't worry,
apology.
I'm not gonna rate your apology.
Okay.
Like, can we get back to the conversation? I said okay. Like,
I mean, I don't think there's any really thing else that I had to say. I asked the questions that I was trying to ask and, like, got the perspective that I was trying to get from people. So I don't really have anything else to ask or talk about.
Go and have a look at Freud's paper. It's a 1997 paper where she unpacks the her theory, or she puts forward her theory. It's called Violations of Power, Adaptive Blindness and Betrayal Trauma Theory. It was published in Feminism and Psychology. It's actually really, really interesting, but she does make the issue of gender very clear, that it is not, yeah, so just go read it. It's really good.
I read it. Sorry. It's like the one book my psych class had us read, the one feminism book.
What did you say it was, Jobel?
Oh, sorry. It's in my server now. I've put it under the feminist tab if you're interested, but it is called 1997. It is Freud, Freyd is her name. Violations of Power, Adaptive Blindness and Betrayal Trauma Theory. Published in Feminism and Psychology.
So, what exactly happened in Echo's live that brought this conversation?
We were, sorry.
No, go ahead.
We were talking about Sean and their usage of Darvo and how they have been alleged of rape and DV and also hurting a child. And so that's what we were talking about. And someone brought up a conversation from earlier in the comments when all of that was kind of coming out. And so someone asked a question about what I had said earlier.
Okay, so was this person trans? Is that why that was brought up? I don't get it.
Yeah, they're trans. So
okay, so they did obviously bad things, and they were using Darvo. Therefore, I don't get why that's.
There was a correlation made between the prevalence of Darvo for those who have a male upbringing, those who transition later in life, then being subject to that same standard.
Oh.
I wanted to just clear clear something up with you, Matt, because like I think I support you, and I don't want you to here without hopefully trying to clear some things that maybe I don't know if you're seeing that are kind of going badly in the comments, but like one thing, for example, I just want to ask you: do you believe that trans women they've always been women?
Yes.
Okay, so just wanted to I have bars a little bit. Can you guys hear me still? Am I good? Okay.
You're good.
I just wanted to make sure that like you keep in mind when you're, because I get in a sense where what you're saying, right? But I just want you to also see what the other perspective, because we got to remember these conversations. You and I are both cis, we're both white women, and so we have privilege that comes along with these things that we're not seeing the other side of, right? So like when it came with Celeste, you might not have heard yourself, but you were kind of giving them attitude, and I didn't really hear you give that same attitude to other people, right? So that could come across as like a microaggression. So like I'm telling you this because I want you to be able to try to check that for yourself so that you don't do that again, or you see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying this to come at you or say that you're this or that. I'm just saying it so that hopefully you can see it now that I pointed it out.
Yeah, that's like, again, not my intention to come off that way. I mean, like, I gave like attitude to Allison as well, so it's definitely not just directed at Celeste. But I like apologize, Celeste, for the attitude if that frustrated or upset you. I apologize for the over talking. I don't like. I really just like I guess I can't really stand whenever people just ask questions over and over and over again, so that's why I was kind of jumping the gun. And that's not a slight on you, that's just genuinely like a personal pet peeve. So and I feel like men do it all the time, so it's not like you, it's just like a trigger that it irritates me. But like,
So I talk like a man now because I said something. No,
that's not what I just said. Can you not
is.
do that? That's not what I just said.
That
No,
is.
that's not what I just said. I said that men often do that as well. And it
So you're
triggered me
equating
because
to me as a
I'm
man.
not what I said.
Matt, be so serious.
That's not what I said. If that's what you heard, like, that's not what I said.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
No, that's not what
Your
I said. I
apology
did
was
not
really
say that
bad,
you
too.
speak like a man. What I said was that men often do that, and that's why I'm jumping the gun, because whenever
No,
I'm
it's
yeah,
fine.
that is what I said.
I don't want to hear your apology either. It was
Okay.
bad. I'm sorry if that upset you. It clearly did.
Okay, that's not what I said.
You literally did.
No, I
I'm
said
sorry if that
you
upset. If
you ask questions over and over and over again, and that's what men do. And so I jumped the gun because oftentimes when men do that, they're trying to.
At the beginning of your apology, you said
it's a tactic to get you to forget what you're about to say.
Talking over me to apologize.
Yeah,
I just told you I don't want to hear your apology.
Okay, then I won't give it to you. I'm sorry. Like, okay, got it. Again, that's not what I just said to you, though, and I'm not going to pretend like that's what I just said to you.
Well,
it's not. I did
agree.
not say that you speak like a man. That's fucking crazy. That's not what I just said.
I said you were equating my
No, I wasn't.
to a man.
I said no. That's not what I said.
I mean, you did correlate them, though.
Yeah, you correlated me to a man.
So, like, why? I'm
And
just
you said that
I
triggered
already
you.
said
My
it.
speech
I'm
as
sorry.
a black
This is
person
why.
of color, like as a person of color.
This is why I'm getting defensive, because I already said it. I already said that you asking questions over and over and over again reminds me of the men who I talk to on panel who ask questions over and over and over again when I'm trying to have a conversation with them. Instead of letting me respond, they just simply ask their question over and over and over again.
But Mac, it's not flagging for you that it is a microaggression to masculinize a femme presenting voice, specifically when it is a black person.
That's not what I did.
No, I'm saying
when
you're not
somebody is
recognizing that
trying to
red flag.
educate you on the harm you're doing, all you do is say that's not what I did. If that's what I did, I didn't mean to. You're literally doing the same thing that these harmful people you're calling out do. I'm so sick of
That's
it.
not what I did. I told you why I was interrupting you. I
Yeah,
was
and you
giving an
didn't stop.
explanation and an apology for why I was interrupting you. And I
There's
said that
no
men
reason to be
often
mad about the way I
and
spoke.
I said that men often do that, and that's why I was jumping the gun because again, it just frustrates me when people ask questions and then they don't want the answer. They
Don't
just
be
want to
so ready
continue
to
talking.
respond. Maybe just listen for a second. Collect your
Yeah, I was
thoughts. Like, you
listening.
literally said you were trying to finish my sentence. You thought you knew what I was going to say. That's not appropriate in any kind of conversation. I'm sorry. Like, what is going on right now? Multiple people in the comments said they also thought the same thing that I just said. So you can't even act like that wasn't what you were trying to
It's
do.
because
Like,
you ask questions over and over again.
There's nothing wrong with that if you don't answer them.
No, I'm saying like in the same breath, you will ask the same question multiple times.
Okay?
Okay, so that's why I said that I could feel
Is
what was
anybody else
coming.
annoyed by the way that I spoke today?
No.
I need
No.
like actual responses.
No.
No.
Okay. Anybody else? No. So I guess the way I talk is just like irritating and triggering. I guess I'm just annoying.
Not
Yeah, I've heard that my entire life as an autistic
That's not what I
person.
said either. I didn't say you were annoying.
You said my voice triggered you.
What I said was that whenever
Do not gaslight me right now, Matt, because you have been trying to do that.
that's just not what I said.
It
Like
is.
I did not say that your
Yes.
voice
Yes.
triggered me. I said that I was jumping the gun because again,
That was earlier. That was literally
Can we use
earlier.
TikTok
can
friendly
we move
language,
on,
please?
That was earlier. Like, can we just move on? I literally asked you to stop giving the apology, and then you overtalked me trying to give it again. Like, just move on.
So, Mac, my question is, I'm curious why it was not why a flag didn't go up in your head to not bring up a trans woman's maleness or relationship to maleness in that particular instance. Why it wasn't like that? Why that didn't stay an inside thought until you could research it later, kind of a thing? That wouldn't have occurred to you that would be perceived as potentially harmful to specifically a Black trans woman.
Yeah, so I was also responding to comments that were invalidating the victim because she identifies as non-binary and Sean identifies as a woman. And so I was responding to the comments that were downplaying the harm because she was non-binary. And so I was responding to that as well. And trying to now point out, again, the socialization that men and boys are brought up with.
Right. No, I understand why your train of thought how it got there. What I'm not understanding is why the flag didn't go up in your head to say that this is not something that I should bring up in regards to a trans woman, bringing up their relationship to maleness and how this may affect, like, regardless of how much you didn't like the person. And I'm not saying that it's wrong for your head to even go there, but to verbalize that in a public space, the impact and the harm that could potentially cause a trans woman. Like, I'm curious why a red flag didn't go up there for you.
I'm not sure. I was trying to have, I guess, a more controversial conversation and explain my thought process in that.
Can I ask some questions?
Yeah, I have like 5 more minutes. I
Okay.
have to get off in 5 minutes.
I get it. What's your understanding on trans women?
My understanding?
Mhm.
I guess, what do you mean by that? Like, what I believe?
What's a trans woman?
A trans woman's a woman, just happened to be born male. like
So a person assigned male at birth who transitioned to female later in life, is that basically what you're saying?
yeah, that could be, yeah.
Okay, so your whole spiel is that trans women experience maleness because they're assigned male at birth, right? Till they transition, or is it till they fully transition?
It's more so just like the point I was bringing up was the socialization, but we were specifically talking about someone who transitioned later in life. But I do think that as long as you present, masculine and people view you as a man or masculine in a society, you are going to experience male privilege. So that was, I don't know if that answers your question. I don't really know how to answer the question, but
Okay, then I'm gonna go outside the spectrum and say, what about femboys? Do they experience male privilege?
no, I wouldn't say that tomboys experience male privilege because I think a lot of tomboys.
You said fanboy.
No,
Boys?
it's the opposite spectrum. So I mean, it still works.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
tomboys.
I thought you said tomboys.
No, it's okay.
I mean, femboys? Is that what you were saying?
I said femboys. Yes.
I mean, I think that they could still benefit from male privilege, but they're also going to experience, they're definitely going to experience, like bigotry due to the fact that they are presenting in a feminine way, whether that be because people perceive them as either like part of the LGBTQ community would mostly be like the bigotry that they're facing. So,
Well, not a lot of femboys. Not some of them are not part of the LGBTQ.
right.
Yeah.
No, and I get that, but people don't know that, and obviously they're gonna see a femboy and think
But my
either they're
question is,
gay or
do they have male privilege?
I would say to an extent, yes.
Okay, but tomboys do not.
Yeah, I would say that generally tomboys do not.
I disagree with that. I'm happy to elaborate if anybody wants to hear that.
Sure.
I disagree. Tomboys and mask-presenting women do have an inherent benefit from the patriarchy, usually exhibited through the acceptance by men into their circles because of their presentation of masculinity. So what we need to take into account here is that femininity is not seen as something that should be desired by males. Therefore, males who present feminine do experience a level of rejection by men, whereas women who exhibit masculinity are sometimes more accepted than those that do not, because men see the portrayal of masculinity as something that is desirable in order to obtain acceptance.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I guess like I feel as if like male privilege is something that men obviously like kind of uphold male privilege, so in a way they're kind of giving like male privilege to other men around them. They're giving them that privilege of like taking them more seriously, not targeting them for stalking, harassment, etc., violent crimes, etc. And just like overall treating them a lot differently than women. I do think that women have a more like we don't care as much about masculinity and femininity compared to men, which men really care about masculinity and they care about like presenting masculine for the most part because that's the way that they've been brought up and that's how gender roles have kind of fallen in our society. But I mean, I would just say like compared to I think the situation is nuanced. Like I think if you had like a
woman earlier
femboy,
though, did you say cis or trans? I'm sorry. But you said women earlier that don't care about femininity and masculinity. I need you to clarify.
Oh,
Do you mean
yeah.
cis or
I mean,
trans?
I would say like cis women, because I think like trans women are held to a very high standard of like, they need to always be presenting very feminine, or else people kind of judge them for not doing so. So, specifically cis women. But like I think it would be dependent on the situation. Is your name Gel? I can't see it. Gel.
Dr. Jabba.
Gel.
Yeah.
I think the situation would just depend. Like, I think if you had a tomboy and you had a femboy, both walking, in the middle of the night, and I don't know, let's say they had, their haircut wouldn't even matter, but like, I was gonna say like, like the tomboy had longer hair, the femboy had shorter hair. Like, I think that like a predator would kind of look towards the one with the longer hair, because that would signal, for the most part, that is a woman, and men often want to victimize women for whatever reason. And so like I think it would just depend on the situation.
Celeste, go.
Yeah, Celeste.
A really important point. Trans women oftentimes are just seen as gay men early in life. I don't know how to bring that up. Because like, a lot of gay men are seen as like more feminine than straight men, and then like if someone who's perceived as a boy is doing more feminine things, they might just think they're gay, which might also change their experience as a boy like at the time. So I just thought that was an important thing to bring up. Also, I have to bring up race because it definitely like has a point in this conversation. It's not just trans women that have to be quote unquote on point all the time. Like, black women also have to, they always have to have their braids done, they always have to have their edges laid, or they're gonna be seen as trashy or ghetto or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm trying not to get upset, but I just felt kind of unfairly disrespected in this live, and then I don't know, the fact that every time I tried to speak I got interrupted and then got attitude for, I don't know, it kind of hurt. And then I don't know, people get angry when black people bring up race, but it is important because really at the end of the day, racism contributes to so many of the other isms, like white colonialism. That's what started a lot of the bigotry that we see today. And I see Pac's hand is up, and I just think it's important to have more nuanced conversations. Yeah.
I didn't mean to throw you off, Celeste. I had my hand up, so waiting until you finish speaking. So continue, take a breath, gather your thoughts, and if you want me to go, I'll go. But if you want to continue speaking, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. I don't really think I have anything else to add to the conversation. I just thank you for having me up, and I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a good night. I know it's been a long day. But yeah. All right.
I really appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you coming back and coming up here and giving us your opinion and your labor. What I did want to say is that, and especially since I'm pasty, that white culture has appropriated and degraded people who are melanated for many, many, many years. By stealing their culture, stealing their language, stealing their clothing, and I think that has a lot to do with a lot of things. Um,
You're kind
you
of
know,
quiet,
I
Pax.
it's probably hang on. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
I think it's
Yeah,
the
it was
water
my
probably drawing you out.
no, it was my my tablet had slid down and covered the microphone hole. So what I was saying was, uh, oh no, Celeste, you're not embarrassing, and I absolutely love the hand dance. If you could actually do that on all of my lives, that would be awesome. Because I don't know, that just tickles my brain really well. But what I was saying was, white people have a habit of taking away transgender voices, especially black transgender voices, but also white people have a really bad habit of appropriating black culture as well, and not admitting it. And I had received a question or a picture of you, Mac, wearing a bonnet, um, and I just wanted to ask what your thoughts were on that.
I mean, I'm wearing a bonnet right now. I'm in bed. I have had conversations with people, and from what I've gathered, I mean, people have an issue with me posting in the bonnet, which I'm going to go through my videos and private them. I just haven't had the opportunity to. But I mean, that's my take, is that I'm not gonna wear a bonnet in public or on video. I've already had that conversation with people of color. So,
Okay.
and
Uh,
I just like, I mean, I just kind of want to say, like, I do have to go. But the reason, so like,
Can I ask a question really quickly, because it's something that's been bothering the
yeah,
really
one
been
second. Give me just a second, because I do want to say this. As for you talking about appropriation of Black culture, I agree. That's not at all why I wear a bonnet. I specifically got introduced to bonnets by Black women on social media who advocate for all hair textures to wear a bonnet. So that's specifically where I got introduced to that by. So it's not out of appropriation whatsoever. It's simply out of hair health and listening to Black women and what's beneficial for hair textures of all types. And as for like the other stuff that we talked about today, I mean, like, I am definitely not the most well versed in trans topics at all. It's not my forte. Just like I think some people up here would say, their forte is not like talking about essay or essay culture. And like I'm not here to harm or intentionally harm anyone. Obviously, the way that I've been saying things tonight has upset a lot of people, and that's not my intention, but that is the impact. So I do apologize for that.
I mean, I will say this, that you did give a lot of turfy arguments.
Um, I mean, I don't really know like what specifically is a turkey argument or not, but I mean, if you're telling me that, then I'll take that at the face value and like look into that and do better. I'm definitely not like I'm not a turf. I don't believe in turf ideology at all. I think that turfs are just jealous, whiny little bitches. But like so no, that's not my intention at all.
just really quickly, just quick question. I just noticed that you've done this a couple times. Why do you keep like what's the word I can use? I'm sorry, but why do you keep attributing men's actions towards women's and femmes when the people that you should talk about is men, the people that should be kept accountable to men. But there's been times when you're like, oh, like for example, when Celeste and you said, oh, men do that, that's why I reacted that way. Why do you contribute those actions to women and femmes when they're not men?
So I wasn't saying that Celeste was a man for doing that or talking like a man. I wasn't I wasn't saying that she's acting like a man. I was simply just saying that I was jumping the gun on that because, and I already talked about this. I honestly I don't even know why we're bringing this up again, but I said that I jumped the gun on her questions because I just whenever I'm debating with people who are usually men, because that's who I usually debate with, they will ask their question over and over and over again in the same breath, not to have a conversation, but to steamroll. And I'm not saying that's what Celeste was doing, but I was jumping the gun because I was frustrated that she was asking a question over and over and over again and not letting me respond to it. And I just don't understand the point in asking a question multiple times in the same breath. And that was just something that men do frequently. And so also I believe Celeste said that they go by she, they.
They said any
Celeste
pronouns.
goes by any
So
pronoun.
I'm not misgendering Celeste.
Yeah, y'all, just real quick, you guys in the chat, you don't, just, if a non-binary person does not have to go by they, them, you can use any pronouns and you can be any, doesn't matter what you are. So just want to clear that up really quick too. Pronouns are not specific to being cis, trans, non-binary, it doesn't matter. So just kind of get that out of your head. But real quick, Mac, before you go, I just want to say one thing that I don't know if Pat can help you get this, or maybe someone that you know might have recorded, but this is just something, my suggestion. You can take it or leave it. I really suggest that you rewatch this live and listen to it with an open mind and kind of just hear yourself of how you said certain things. I know you said you didn't intend on hurting Celeste, but you definitely did. And certain things you said just were worded very badly. I don't think you're a bad person or you meant to come across transphobic or racist, but I'm just, I want to help you. So I'm just trying to tell you that I think that would help if you listen to it back.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything to say? Delirious?
Mine's more of an aside conversation, so nothing directed at Mac.
All right, Mac, go to bed.
Yeah. I appreciate Pax you letting me talk. Even though comments weren't that great, but it's fine. Not your fault. There's a lot of people who don't like me regardless of what I say, so they're gonna be in here. But I appreciate it.
No problem. It's not about whether I like somebody or whatnot. It's giving space to learn. For example, I grew up in a community where there wasn't a whole lot of melanated people, so I will often scroll into lives where I will just sit and listen for hours on end and people talk about their experiences that I didn't have, so I get a better idea of what they go through without having to ask questions. And I very much try to not make generalized statements, especially if I've impacted that community. I generally try and apologize as quickly as possible and try to do better in the future so that I don't make those mistakes again. But that's just me. You can do whatever you want. You're a free human.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for sure.
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming up and talking, and I do hope you have a great night.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Can I just say in chat, can we get love for Celeste, please?
Yes, absolutely. Can we get a much love for Celeste?
I didn't get to tell you this last, but I love your name, by the way. It's just so... I don't know another word other than it's just really pretty, so if that's a bad one, I'm sorry. That's not the right word, but I just love it. And
We love you,
that's not on
Celeste.
you. I love you, Celeste.
Celeste, you are amazing, and yeah, you did amazing. Allison, you also actually all of the guests on my panel did amazing tonight. I can't even say enough. Like I appreciate you. Oh, not gel in the comments. How did it all end? It's okay. You'll get a copy of the video. Um, Allison, you spoke fantastically. I appreciated it because you took the question right out of my mouth.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, when you really think about it, right? Like, I get it when you want to hold people accountable because you heard something somewhere else, right? Like, I understand that friends should hold one another accountable. I get it. But when you deep dive into something because other people's behavior is this A, B, C, D, and you're trying to get involved in it, like, I don't know. I guess my brain and tools of therapy maybe that allow me that pursuant nature to think like this, but it's like, what is it your business to be digging into that perspective unless you're trying to understand that person's behaviors? Are you a behavioral analyst? Are you going to try and cause a solution for them? Are you going to provide therapy and remedy for them? Right? Like, what? Why? Why insert yourself in shit with no fucking reason?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys all caught the whole live and know the whole story, but the problem is that I didn't know what Darvo exactly meant, but I looked it up. But the problem is that Sean, she also made an accusation of something that happened to her by this same, and so in a sense, if we are going to believe all victims, then they're both in a sense victims, right? We don't know which one is telling the full truth, so I don't think it's fair to just say, oh, we for sure know that Sean's lying and Elle is the one telling the truth. Now, I'm not calling Elle a liar by any means. I'm just saying if we support victims, then we can't just like discount what Sean came forward and said, because I think that defeats the whole purpose of us saying we believe victims.
And Sean is the trans woman that transitioned later in life?
I believe so. That was people were trying to figure that out.
Oh, yes, I believe so. Yeah, you don't know Sean?
No, I don't know Sean.
They spell it Shaun. Yeah, they're a black trans woman. They're like, they debate with Kendi. They debate with Jeff and Solid. I don't know if you know any of them, but yeah, they're really funny. Sometimes we're like,
do you think all black trans women know each other?
No. No, I wasn't saying that. Everyone knows Sean. I thought you'd know him.
Wow,
I don't know who these people are either. I don't really care who they are. I think that the thing about it that really bothered me was the use of Darvo and the assumption that Darvo is gendered, right?
Can I okay, I just need a clarification what Darvo is. I keep hearing it thrown around. I just need a clarification.
Okay, so Darvo is a theory that was created by Jennifer Freud back in the 90s, right? And it stands for deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. It is literally about the way in which some offenders who perpetuate SA towards anybody react in denial, and they attack the victim's credibility. They deny, they reverse, they gaslight. So it's something that is used to confuse, intimidate, and discredit the victim, right?
Okay, thank you.
This was in 1997 that it was introduced. And yes, okay, Darvo exists. That's not a problem. But the author specified in the paper that this is not about gender, and it is not about the gender of the perpetrator at all, right? There are power imbalances, and there are silences around abuse, and there is intersectionalities that we do need to apply to it. Yes, fine. And the majority of SA offenders are men. Yes, we know that. However, women and non-binary people are just as likely to use Darvo against their victims as men are. It's just that there are lesser cases of it. Right? So it's not something that is inherent to men. It's not because of socialization. It is literally based on the life world of the individual. You're now talking down, again, like Alison said, about the psychology of the individual rather than the homogenization of an entire group of people simply because they are the most likely to attack. We can't say that because it would be in disservice to men.
I mean, that's what TERFs use against us because we are males. I'm male at birth, therefore we have the male privilege. And that's literally the turfy argument that I felt that Mac was giving.
Yeah, and that's what I said to her as well, like that she is forgetting that trans women have never been boys or men. They may have been seen as that, and they may have been, taught all of these things, but it doesn't mean that they took on board misogyny the way that men do. It is not, that doesn't happen. There's a difference, and that's why I came up, because it just it enraged me, and this is why I dropped as well, because I cannot. That's not feminism to me. That is, trans exclusionary radical feminism to me.
The other issue that I had was when I had witnessed Max Live last night, where there was a trans person named Gemma who had a prior name who encompassed that part of their name, and they changed it by one letter. And Mac had stated that it was silly because you're saying her unalived name because it's incorporated it into her new name, and it doesn't really show any trauma and whatever. And I don't even know what she was going on about. However, what I can say is that it is not up to a cis person to diagnose why a trans person chooses to change their name and what trauma that it holds for them. And even if it's changing it by a single letter, it's none of their damn business. And that it is, if that's the way that they choose to alleviate their dysphoria over their name or whatever, it's not up to somebody else to choose. I don't like when we make assumptions on why somebody does something. We're not psychologists. We're not sociologists. We don't have the equipment to do that. And I also didn't like the fact that she didn't get your name right. She skipped over the part where there is a doctor in front of your name, and I would encourage her to unpack her own internalized misogyny.
Well, I don't like this perception of trans people where it's we have to hate everything about our past selves in order to be trans, and carry on. I know a lot of people who hold value, in their past experience, before they came out as trans. So I don't like that either. Ew.
I just want to talk on the. Oops, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I just want to talk on the turf point because, I know everybody came across and they were like, "Oh, you're defending." I'm not really necessarily defending her, right? I don't have the full picture of what's going on behind, but I wanted everybody to have a nuanced conversation because it immediately went to people throwing turf, transphobia, all this stuff, and that just shuts down the conversation. Now, am I saying she doesn't need to be held accountable? What she was saying was definitely not good. Definitely going down those wrong lines. But when people use that term turf, they got to realize that by throwing it around, you are erasing it. The only reason I am alive today is because 5 cis women came to my defense when 7 turfs came at me. The only reason I'm breathing. So if you think Mac making a little statement is turfism, no, you don't know what a turf really is. Because I do lean in that radical feminist harder side than gel. So I don't appreciate it when people are throwing that term around, because it basically means what I just went through was nothing. Just like any little tiny comment, oh, well, then I just need to get over it because, you know, I'm crying or whatever about it, right? That's why I take such offense to when people just throw the term turf, because turfs are basically, and see, you can even say, oh, that's anecdotal. So right there, it's dismissed. Like, oh, a trans woman says something about her life. Oh no, it's dismissed. It can't be right because it doesn't fit our doctrine, and that's what makes us look bad to everybody else, right? Nobody wants to engage with us because the moment we don't agree with something, we just get defensive or offensive and we push them away, and then that's it. And like I said, it may be in line with some things TERFs say, but also I don't think she was going as far as TERFs say it, right? She wasn't necessarily saying it couldn't be unpacked or broken. TERFs say that male socialization, it's inherent. That's why they use that bioessentialism, which Gel knows about. They lock it in as it cannot be changed. It is an unchangeable, immutable characteristic. This male socialization cannot be. They try to say it's socialized and that it can be.
I don't think anybody was calling her a turf. They were saying what she was saying borders on turfy rhetoric. And
Yeah,
I
let
would
me
have to agree with that. Go ahead,
let me
Delirious.
clarify what I said. I didn't call her a turf. I said what she was saying aligns with turf language. Yes, saying that one trans woman did something bad, therefore let me correlate it with every other to every single trans woman that I know. That's literally basic turf language. Just because one trans woman did something bad, that means all trans women are bad. So
I
yes,
want to.
I'm saying though she's saying it's going to the past of being a turf. I'm not calling her a turf. I'm saying that it aligns with turf's language when you mix the two. The other part that also gives turf language is that she was saying that because trans women are still assigned male at birth, they still have male privilege. Therefore, that's another turf argument that is used. So, I mean, I'm not calling her a turf, but she's using turf rhetoric.
Secondly, I want to say, like, you can be a turf without being, like, inherently violent. Like, you don't have to be violent, or enact, or even, like, antagonistic to be a turf either.
Disagree.
Why, though? I don't think like, I think if you,
Use the
like,
word
believe in turf rhetoric and you, like, do that even in your own personal life, even if you're not antagonistic with it, you would still be a turf.
No.
Would you say that for a racist?
No, absolutely. They're two different things.
Never
So
mind.
somebody can be transphobic and not be a turf. That's how I look at it. Turf is a very extreme term. Like, these are people that will psychologically and at some point probably physically do things to you. An example would be, basically you have to go with where turfism comes from, which is, for radical feminism, it comes from Mary Daly, who was a lesbian separatist, and it comes from Janice Raymond. And if you ever read Janice Raymond's book, you're probably going to need to go sit somewhere, because her book is absolutely abhorrent. And that is turf. That is where this turf rhetoric comes from.
I
This is
would
where
I
they
would
get.
agree with Nicole Bug. In order to be a turf, you actually have to have some grounding and some activism behind you. That's why I don't call, most of the women that come up screaming about shit feminists or turfs, because they don't have any grounding. They have no understanding. All they're saying is just transphobia or homophobia or right wife rhetoric or bullshit like that. In order to be labeled a feminist, you need to understand feminist theory. You need to actually understand what the history of feminism is, and you need to be able to practice it. And there's very few TERFs on TikTok. Like I've come across maybe one. They're not real
She's
TERFs.
using turf language. That's what I'm saying. I'm not calling her a turf. She's using turf language. She's
Oh yeah,
using
no, that's
turf
fine.
arguments.
Yeah,
That is
yeah, no, that's.
And I think a lot of us don't. I mean, it's a great point that you, Nicole, and you, Dr. Delbo, just made. Because I never looked at it like that because I always looked at like a lot of the GCs as turfs, but I also didn't look at them as feminists. So like I kind of like was almost like in my head, oh, they're not real feminists, but they are definitely exclusionary, and so I didn't look at it like that. So that's a really good point. So I
Yeah,
think
no, they're just bigots, boss. They're just bigots.
Right.
They don't have anything behind them to justify their position, which is, when Envy used to stand there and say that she was a feminist and she was stood for female rights and sex-based rights and whatever else, when she came up on the panel and I had her cornered and I said to her, "Are you a feminist?" and she said, "No." I recorded that shit and I posted it because people need to understand that there is no grounding behind all of these assertions unless they can actually have a decent conversation in terms of feminist theory and justify it, and talk about the origins of where the turfs actually came from and how it was developed. Then yeah, okay, fine, you're a turf. But until then, all of these people, they're just trad wives. All of them, they just want to retain or maintain the status quo based on Christianity. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't even call turfs because I'm writing a whole feminist paper on it. I'm gonna get like 30 pages right now going through radical feminist literature. And if you go through radical feminist literature, especially Andrea Dworkin, she is actually extremely trans inclusive. She's even openly said trans people should just be left alone. Leave us alone. Don't, give us all the care we need. And she is considered one of the most prominent radical feminists. And a lot of her books actually can be seen as to why turfs are actually problematic. She has a book called Right Wing Women, which is literally right there. It explains their psychology in a book. And it's amazing.
Sorry.
Yep.
I would like to bring up, because there is some questions in the chat, if somebody could answer, other than me, what is problematic with somebody like me wearing a bonnet? Can't go.
I'm not qualified to answer that.
Am I the only one that can answer?
Yes.
I think so.
I have 3A hair, but I'm not black.
What is wrong with someone like you wearing a bonnet? I mean, you have no hair.
Back's gonna wear it
There
on
you
the
go.
beard. Sorry.
A beard
bonnet.
Now I'm gonna get my wife to crochet me a beard bonnet.
I mean, they make silk pillowcases, so ideally,
That was gonna be my point. You just find something else. Like there's so many like other things.
I mean, it's not really for
Celeste,
it's not really
if you
for
would
white
like to
people
come up and
hair.
answer.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, Celeste.
I don't think we're necessarily.
and-
We don't need it for.
and-
But I don't want to buy a silk pillowcase. I don't want to buy that.
Just buy one, man. They're so cheap.
Celeste.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask, like, isn't the purpose of it to kind of like, it's to protect your hair, but like, you wouldn't be doing the same thing for our hair because it's so different? Is that kind of why it would be like, there's not like a need, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can give you an academic answer if anybody wants to hear the academic. I'm not African American, but I can give an academic answer.
Well, I
Curious.
kind of want to answer the question.
So yeah, let's let
Celeste wanted
talk.
to. Yeah, Celeste wanted to answer, and then Dr. Jal, I'd love to hear that too. Go ahead, Celeste.
There's there's multiple reasons. Also, like, I'm gonna start with the historical context. Black people and their hair have been an issue in America for a really long time. We would do elaborate hairstyles, all like to send messages to each other. And a lot of times that was stifled by white slave owners. They would either cut the hair, or like a lot of white people put it in their pillows, all kinds of crazy stuff like that. So they kind of started forcing them to wear scarves. Black people started making really elaborate like designs with them. And then that's kind of where white women's like large head garments, they started copying that. And then they were given like bonnets to like cover their hair. Just kind of like trying to separate their identity and just kind of dehumanize them. And even today we see it, calling black girls ghetto for walking out in public with bonnets or things like that. But then when you ask a white person about why they're wearing a bonnet, it's like, oh, it's for hair care, it's for hair health. But in the next breath, they're over there demeaning a black girl for doing it. So yeah, it's just like the appropriation aspect to me that bothers me. Because like someone like the Kardashians can get admired for following quote unquote black stereotypes. They trying to make themselves look more beautiful or more appealing. A lot of times black features get praised on everybody but black people. So that just kind of bothers me. That's the reason it bothers me. White people. And there's so many other things that they could use too, like satin bonnets, scarves, things like that. There's other options. So, yeah. I don't know if Glenn wanted to answer.
What's a satin? Just real quick. What's a satin bonnet? Like, what's the difference?
I mean, a satin pillowcase. My bad. Yeah, satin pillowcase. Yeah.
Can I ask really quick? Because you brought up the Kardashians, and I've been thinking about this ever since someone said it to me. I always thought their race was white, but I know they have a certain ethnicity. But someone said that they are a woman of color when they were talking about Kim Kardashian. Do you guys know what their race would be considered?
Yeah, they're women of color. I think they're Armenian.
Yeah, they're Armenian.
Yeah, but my point still stands. A non-black person making their features more.
Oh no, you totally. I wasn't referring to what you were saying at all. But I just meant that's not considered a race, though, right? Armenian. I know they're Armenian. Right?
It's not a race, but they're women of color. Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious on that.
Can I also add one of the biggest reasons that I have when non-black folks wear bonnets is when we have conversations about bonnets, and when black folks specifically bring up how it makes us uncomfortable, we're dismissed. We're told, oh, but we have our hair is tangled. There's so many other things you can use, and we're used as a trend. It's used as a cute, oh my god, I saw it on TikTok. Oh my god, I saw one black woman talk about it on TikTok and say that it's all for all hairs. So now every other black person who's come to me personally, the black people who are in our communities have come to us and talked to us about how it makes us uncomfortable, and y'all sat there and y'all defended it. And when I say y'all, I'm specifically talking about Irish's group. Let me be clear, y'all already hate me enough, so I might as well. Y'all got 2 of my accounts banned today, so might as well just say what I have to say. Y'all sat in that server and not only defended y'all using bonnets, but defended you guys as using AAVE. And I think it's really interesting. Y'all wonder why y'all don't have black folks in your community. And then when black folks go to y'all about issues, y'all dismiss us and y'all act like we don't fucking matter. Y'all sat there and called Lizzie a weirdo for speaking about it. And then Iman, yeah, I saw you joined a little earlier. I hope you're still in here, Iman, because you specifically called a black woman weird, and he specifically called a black French woman uneducated about a topic about France. Hello? Are we being for real right now? Are we being serious? And then something that really, frustrated me is that one of the reasons why Mac said that she should be able to wear a bonnet was because, she was educated. She did the research. And then Rigby went up and was like, well, what's that education about? Let's hear it. And she didn't actually know. And then she did what she did tonight was, well, if I did say it and I don't think I did, then I'm sorry. You did. And you keep gaslighting people, and you keep specifically gaslighting black people. And I'm sick of it. And all of your little friends who defend you, I'm sick of them too. I'm sick of them. Bruce, all of y'all saying I'm childish, I muted someone, get over it. Y'all jump someone for putting a wicked meme. Y'all want to talk about childish? Go look in the mirror. Thanks. Sorry, I just had to get that off my chest. Y'all are so annoying. Y'all don't care about black folks. Y'all can sit here and act like y'all do, but the way that y'all treated me and Rigby and Lizzie this past week, try it again. Try it fucking again. And sorry,
And
and
I
the way
also
y'all
wanted
treated
to add
Celeste tonight,
something really
please.
quick.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The way y'all treated Celeste tonight, I'm sorry. The over talking, the not listening, the getting mad that Celeste repeated herself when other people repeated themselves. Maybe the reason that they're repeating themselves is because you're not answering the fucking question. Did you think about that? Did you think about maybe if you answered the question the first time they asked the question, they wouldn't be repeating themselves? Gasp. Sorry.
And I just wanted to add that the reason why Black people wear bonnets is because our hair doesn't produce enough oil, whereas YT people, their hair most of the time overly produces oil, which is why they have to wash their hair more often than we do. So we wear bonnets to try to keep the oil that we apply into our hair. So when YT people use it as an excuse, I just don't agree.
I didn't know that. Yeah. And Glenn, I'm really sorry that this happened. I'm sad that like it happened the way it did, and I didn't know what happened to you.
Hey man, it's okay. You know, I'm not gonna hold you. I blocked that entire friend group. Everybody in Irish's circle got blocked because they sat there and defended Hoops, who they also talk shit about, and Hoop talks shit about them. Bizarre to me. And I think it's crazy that they all sat there and defended Hoops when Hoops said the T slur in my server on a call. Yeah, I know. Wow. Didn't apologize for it and only apologized when I went to her. And then had a background, guys, had a live. She was calling someone out for having this as a profile picture on someone's live. And it was the hard N slur and the T slur. And then she had that on her live for an hour. And so I removed her from my space because as a Black trans person, it's crazy to have that in my space. That's crazy. It's my only safe space on this fucking shitty fucking internet. God forbid I remove her. So I removed her. And then she went to her friends, talked about me. Her friends removed me as a follower, or removed themselves as a follower, left me following them. And then I went to Hoops and I was like, that's weird to me that you're now telling your white friends about the situation and they're unfollowing me as if I've done something wrong. And then that person, Aaron, came to me and said that the way that I handled the situation was a red flag. Mind you, white people telling me, a Black person, the way I handled racism, red flag. And then compare the situation to Miss Andre. Y'all are jokes. All of you are jokes. And then when I went into Iris's server to talk about it, y'all called me a liar. Y'all called me hostile. And then you jumped my friends. And then every time I brought it up, you said I've been derailing. You said that, just rule 3, don't bring up drama. Meanwhile, all y'all talk about is drama. I'm sorry, it's just really annoying and it's frustrating. And this actually has been the only space other than Echoes that's actually let me talk about it without being told I'm derailing. So I appreciate that. Feel a little seen and validated right now, okay? Thank you. I'm sorry I'm rambling. I'm very angry and I'm not having the best day.
Oh, that's really bad. And I'm so confused. Like the last time I think I saw Hoops, they were like going hard at Irish about you. So I'm like super confused.
Yeah, and Irish was calling them abusive.
Wait, was that just like fake, that whole thing? Like, what the hell?
I don't know, friend. Can't tell you. Honestly.
I'm sorry that happened. It's fun. Alright, you guys, I'm so tired. I need to go to bed. Love you all.
Good night, Celeste again.
Good night,
Dr.
Celeste.
Jobo, did you
Yeah,
want to comment from
No,
an academic?
it was absolutely all covered. It's you know, even here in Australia, we know the significance of bonnets, and we know where it all came from. Probably more than it is taught in the US to the non-African American community, I would say, because we actually do learn it as part of the school curriculum. So, yeah, it's a symbol of the hardships and the issues that slavery brought into their lives.
And it is something that is considered a misappropriation, absolutely.
Also, really quickly, Hoops did not do blackface personally. Like, she didn't put the paint on her face herself, but she did direct a play that had blackface in it at 20 in college. But hey man, say man. She didn't do it herself. She didn't put it on herself.
I would take that shit to the
And she had it on a
6 feet.
portfolio. She had it on a portfolio for 10 plus years. And then people who hated her found out. Also, can I just say, for the person who was in this live talking about how they were reporting my account and had Xavier, who doesn't even like me, defending me, wild work. I'm sorry, you had my own ops defending me tonight. That's wild.
Ooh, then you know it's bad.
That's how you know it's getting wicked. Xavier literally dislikes me.
Yeah, Pax is looking pretty tired over there.
Yeah, Pax is looking tired.
It was.
Also,
I am.
Oof.
Before I jump, I just want to say I'm very easy to rage bait. My first response is anger. Don't feel rewarded for that. I love getting mad. I love it. On that note, I am gonna jump and go play Roblox. Bye.
Bye. Have fun playing Roblox.
Bye. Bye, Bon.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop too. Thank you, Pax, for having me. I appreciate it. Bye, everyone. It's nice seeing you guys.
No problem. Thanks, boss lady. I appreciate you coming up.
Yes, it was nice to host it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to end now. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for those who came because I sent them an invite. Thank you to those who came up and spoke because it's something that they're passionate about. Thank you for everybody coming in, and I really appreciate it. And it's always I thank you for teaching me things in this live. I appreciate everybody's time and their efforts, and I appreciate all of you.
I just want to say one final thing, Pax. I appreciate everything you have done because you have lost the game among everybody else. Also have lost the game.
I lost the game.
God,
oh
why?
No!
I always lose the game.
Delirious, why?
I can't believe she went there.
Oh, no. Well, I'm gonna go, and I'm just gonna remind you, Pax. It is Alex's birthday tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah,
Is
it's her last year.
How
in her
tomorrow
20s.
is it?
How tomorrow? It's 5:30 p.m. now here in Australia.
Okay.
So it'll be
That helps.
7:30 p.m. in New Zealand time. So
Okay.
yeah.
Are we doing a happy birthday live?
She's going live, but yeah, we should all go and celebrate that it is her last year in her 20s.
Right.
And don't let her forget that it is her last year in her 20s. And that she's almost halfway to 60.
Hey, Jal, come on. I'm like 47 years old.
I know, I'm 40
I'm like halfway to unalivement. Like, thanks.
Yeah, I'm halfway to... Oh, no, not 84, 88. I'm halfway to 88. Come on.
Pax, I already got the shovel out. I'm digging the hole already.
I know, right? You got military training. At least you know how to do it.
Everybody needs to come back and remind Alex it's her last year in her 20s. It's all gone.
We should put shovels in the chat for her.
Everything goes south after you hit that 30 mark. Sorry, I'm gonna enjoy this year. Okay, love you all. Good night.
Thanks for having
Love
me.
y'all too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.